after you soak the raisins in the rum, you can't throw the rum out. So you got to drink the raisin-soaked rum.
Don't waste it.
Don't waste it.
Can't waste it.
Okay.
Ready? Hello, everybody.
Thank you for not telling the real time. It's 12 in the afternoon. Hey, welcome to the very goodish Meredith and Steve channel. My name is Steve Blanchard, and this is my beautiful wife,
Meredith Inglesby.
Meredith Inglesby.
Hello.
It's going
we
well.
are very goodish.
It's going very well.
It's
Cheers.
very goodish. Cheers. Today is brought to you by a wonderful thing called tequila. Camarena Tequila Reposado. Cheers, salud.
So this is our very first little teaser intro episode to show everyone what we're going to be doing. And
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, this is it?
This is it. Why
This
not?
is the first
You
one.
didn't get the memo.
I didn't get the memo. I didn't read the memo. This is the introduction to us.
Yeah, this is it.
Get ready, here it is.
This is it.
All right.
So what we thought we'd do is do a little channel to show people what we've been doing, and obviously because we're bored to tears during COVID-19, and what we can bring to young performers with our experience in the business of show and
just life.
parenting in the business of show, parenting in general, and consciousness and bringing mindfulness to the forefront and talking about it and
Talking
also
about real things. Talking about authenticity and just being self-aware and conscious.
and also booze.
This is a strange one to start with because we are not at home right now in New York City. We are in South Carolina visiting my family.
Head of Hilton.
In the head of Hilton. Head of Hilton, which is Hilton Head Island. We are here. I grew up here. I spent the first 18 years of my life in South Carolina and have since moved to New York City for 22 years, lived there, met this dude there. We met in a show called Beauty and the Beast on Broadway. He was the Beast, I was Babette.
Yeah.
He married the maid, not the princess, y'all.
Who could pass up the little maid outfit?
You can't pass up the French maid. Come on.
Nope. So we've been together for about 13 years now, and have done the show business thing in New York and all across the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought, what a better way to share our experiences than doing a little channel.
And we just needed a creative outlet, y'all,
Yeah.
because we aren't working. We aren't working.
No one is.
Here we are.
That's the other thing. You guys can type in questions on the YouTube channel,
Well, how about it?
and we can respond to whatever you type in there. And
Well, it might inspire us to do a YouTube live.
can you do that?
Oh, yes, you can.
Really?
Yes.
That is way above my pay grade.
We'll get it. We'll get there.
Yeah, so you
This
type
is
in
such a new
questions,
situation.
and we can talk about stuff. We're also going to talk to guests. We have guests. We have a guest today, as a matter of fact.
We did.
Um,
We do.
we.
It's happening. We have one.
This is the tape delay.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll have guests to talk about fun little topics, and
It's a good guest, too.
talk about life.
Wait, are we having a guest on the very first show? We shouldn't have it just be us.
It's our inaugural
in
guest.
a narcissistic kind of way.
Yes.
I mean, it is our natural state.
If there was one guest that we would have, it would have to be this guest.
It would. It would, probably.
Our first guest is a very, very long time good friend, and one of the best men I know, if not the best.
Mr.
Wayne
Duvall.
Duvall. Thank you very much.
Anybody who knows him knows he's just effervescent love.
Done 1,000 things. You see him on television and film all the time, and he's just terrific. He and I went to school together.
They've been besties for
44 years. Yeah, went to University of Maryland together, and yeah, he's a good dude. He's a really good dude. Mm-hmm. And his wife Denise is equally as outstanding.
I'm a big fan of Denise.
Welcome back to the very goodish Meredith and Steve channel. I am Meredith, and Steve is going to the bathroom. No, That's not true. I'm here with I'm here with my good longtime friend and all-around great person, one of the finest individuals you will ever find on this planet.
Oh,
Mr. Wayne Duvall.
You are too kind, sir. You are too kind.
You know him, you love him, you've seen him in 1,000 different things, and you say, that's the guy. That's the guy.
Him.
What are you drinking there?
I got a little Tito's vodka and tonic.
You are my hero.
Yes, well, pinky out and let's do
Pinky
it.
out.
Cheers to you, my brother.
Pinky out.
Cheers to you, my brother.
Nostrovia.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so tell us what's been going on in your world with the COVID-19 thing.
Well, I'm in my, small one-bedroom apartment with my wife, Denise, who has not plunged a knife into my back yet, which is a beautiful thing. Marriage is stable and steady.
Yes.
And still alive. So what I've been doing is trying to learn French, taking French lessons, audio-wise, this Pimsleur technique. It's pretty good.
Wow.
So bonjour, buddy. And that's it, dude. That's all I've learned.
Je m'appelle Wayne Duvall.
Je m'appelle Wayne Duvall.
Yes.
Enchanté.
Enchanté. Look who it is. My wife came to join us.
I came to join.
Hey, are those fans on your neck?
It's a fallopian fan.
Oh my God.
You need
I love
this.
You need it.
This.
Yes.
It's
yes,
so
I
fantastic.
Like it. How's the new apartment, which looks fabulous in the background there? Oh my God.
Wouldn't that be wonderful if this was the
But it's not. You're in South
apartment?
Carolina, aren't you?
It's
Yes,
South
right.
Carolina.
You're in South Carolina, damn it.
Is not
Damn,
New
I was
York
going to say,
City.
that's a nice apartment.
Wait,
All
do
right.
you want this showing like this?
Oh, we're kind of already taping, so we're good.
Okay, I guess it's showing.
We're good.
Well, because we only have 40 minutes.
It's good.
So I had
You're
to
like Walter Winchell. You're like Walter Winchell with the microphone. Hey, how are you?
Hey, this is ABC Sports.
Before we get into you as a lovely human being, species on this planet, tell us
All
about,
right.
First of all, Wayne and I have known each other for about
74
years.
73 years.
44 years?
Yeah, something like that.
44 years.
Oh my gosh.
We met in acting class in college and in an exercise once, in improv. He said, don't ever leave me, and I haven't.
Yes, and he
Impossible.
never has.
And I never have.
I said, please don't leave me. We were back to back in the dark, and I remember leaning over to him, don't ever leave me. Please don't ever leave me.
This is what I love about you two and your relationship is you make him laugh like nobody else on the planet.
There'll be some rum coming out my nose very soon.
You can send him
That's the goal.
a frenzy of fits of laughter like nobody else I've ever seen in my life. And I'm funny, but he didn't laugh at me like he laughs.
I know you are.
So after we left college, Wayne went the TV film route, and I went, of course, the Broadway route. And you have done very well for yourself, sir.
Well, let us not forget that I went to New York when you did, and I've tried to do the Broadway way for 8 years, which I had no agent after 8 years, had no employment. I was the king of the basement plays where they gave you travel money.
Hey, you
So it's not
started
like,
a theater company.
You went off and did movies. No, not really. No, wrong. I went to California when I said, why not? I've got nothing here. Well, you were Broadwaying it. No. So, yeah. And then I went to LA after 8 years in New York, being waiter and telemarketer and all that fun stuff, But yeah, then I went off and did some movies and stuff, and it worked out. Thank God.
Well, I certainly, as I've told you many times, owe my career to you because literally I'm in Maryland finishing up doing dinner theater. I was planning to move to New York eventually. And Wayne calls me and says, hey, there's a project here. It's got your name all over it. Hans Christian Andersen. I go up and I book it. I get my equity card. And then 3 years later, same thing. I'm down in Maryland, and Wayne calls and says, "Hey, there's a show up here called Three Musketeers. It's got you. It's your show."
Thanks for being his agent.
And so I went up.
I'm here for him.
They signed me in, at 6 in the morning or something. And when I finally got there after driving all night, I went to the big open call, and I booked it after 5 callbacks in 6 months.
Broadway.
You are my muse.
I try, my brother. That was so thrilled for you. I remember going to Tavern on the Green that night.
Mm-hmm.
Because you brought me to your opening, which was great and just very exciting.
He came to my Broadway opening of Musketeers in 1984. And then just a couple years ago, his Broadway debut was indeed 1984.
1984. Oh my God, I didn't know that you were.
That's
that was
crazy.
1984 for you. That is weird. 1980. That's right, and that was also the year of Olivia Wilde's birth, who was in 1984 with me.
Great.
Yeah, 32 years it took me to get there.
How was that experience for you after waiting 32 years?
I could have done it forever. I mean, it was a limited run. That was the sad part, but I just had the best time because I was working with an amazing group of these. It was 8 actors: Reed Birney, Tom Sturridge, Olivia, Michael Potts, just phenomenal actors. Kara Seymour. I mean, and every night it was a different show. Every night. People were just in the moment right there. And so I just said, I could do this every night till I die.
Yep.
The audience was freaked out by it. And I remember yours was the best response afterwards because you saw it in previews when my character was completely different from how it ended up. But I remember you looking, I remember seeing you afterwards and you had that look in your face and you said, I don't get it.
He had clearly not read Orwell's novel in high school like the rest of us.
I only did slightly better than him on the SATs, and I had not read the novel either.
He's dark.
And then they said during the rehearsals, they said, you all read it, right? Not the book, and I went, nope. They said, but you've read it, since you got cast. I went, I got a script. I don't need to read it.
You two are cut from the same cloth, like completely.
I know.
I do my research.
He will read the book actually if he gets cast.
Really?
Only if he gets cast in something.
Yeah,
What kind of research did you do for A Perfect Murder?
Perfect Crime?
Perfect Crime, yeah.
Let's just not.
Okay, moving on. Hey, listen. There were 7 people in the audience the night you came. Okay.
Hey, that's right, including me.
All right, let's just not.
But that research came through. I saw it.
I am a firm believer in doing research before any part. I don't know how you are, because especially if it's someone that actually existed.
Oh.
There's a plethora of information out there, and you have more of a responsibility if the person has actually lived on this planet to do your due diligence and research the character, because it's such a privilege to do it.
He
absolutely.
When he got cast as Pa in Little House on the Prairie, he rode, you probably know this already, but he rode his motorcycle across country to Minnesota, which is where rehearsals were at the Guthrie, all along stopping at the homesteads that were listed in the books and going to the towns and going to the little pit stop. Like there was one that was literally a mud flat cave that they lived in for
Minnesota,
a summer or whatever.
By the shores of Silver Lake? No. On Walnut Creek?
I don't know, but he
Plum
got
Creek.
obsessed.
Plum
he got
Creek.
so obsessed he took soil samples from each place
from every single
and
one.
put it in a little pill box and labeled it Desmet. the Plum Creek dirt,
Walnut
the
Creek, yeah.
and it was this
Walnut
thing
Grove.
which you I think still have probably.
I have all
You
that.
probably still
Yeah,
have it in
yeah.
the low
That's awesome.
boxes of things.
No, I agree. I mean, because anytime you do research like that, I mean, if for anything else, it just gives you a sense in your mind, I think, of like the time or the era, or it does something to your imagination, I believe, you know? I mean, that's why, like, you know, any part that I can do, I'll do like some kind of a backstory that comes out of me, but it's like, you know, because I always think it's, as my cousin, the actor Robert Duvall once said, he goes, you know, any character is you bent, you know, so it comes out of you, but you kind of go a certain way or another way, you know, and so I'll write a backstory, and if it's something I personally can relate to, it goes into the backstory. But I mean, you know, I just think that's so important that you did that. I think that is so cool that you did
It
that.
is, yeah.
You know, that you can like touch that soil and
Yeah.
know that this guy's energy is in it. You know, that might sound hokey to other people, but to me, it just makes your imagination
Absolutely.
go.
Absolutely. There were,
You
I mean,
know?
there were still buildings in De Smet, which is where the last place they lived, that was, you know, that was still standing. So I got to
Right.
touch the cabinets that he built, and, you know,
Oh
and
my God. See,
the
that's
bedroom where he
amazing.
died. And it was just, it
And
was
you can
a,
imagine yourself there then. Your
yeah,
pa, you know where he
Because you're
died.
in the
That's
space.
exactly. I built this thing. You know, this is how did I build this? You know, it's
I
like
took a,
that's so cool, man.
when we were at the Guthrie, I actually took a trip on a Monday off and went out to De Smet just for the heck of it, because she was in New York doing Mermaid. So I went out to De Smet on a day off. Just I rode my bike out there, and I stood on their homestead, and I literally saw every single thing in the song that I sang every night in the show. I saw in De Smet across these plains, across these fields. It was, and so when I got back the next day and sang the song, you know, I was, you know, because it was just so beautiful. It was
Well,
just
that's why you were
stunningly
so
beautiful.
good in the show. You both were amazing in that show.
Well, thank
You were
you.
both amazing in that show.
Thank you. I went into a little like schoolhouse in because I was the school teacher and the crazy
Right.
and I played two roles, but I was the school teacher, and we went into an actual schoolhouse where the teacher taught Laura Ingalls, and then there were also like we could go into the cabin that they recreated to look just like where
Right.
they lived, the little house, and I got
Right.
a sense of how small it was, how cramped it was.
Right.
We went out on the prairie and heard the wind blowing, and I was like, oh yeah, you could totally go crazy, because I played sort of an insane woman with a baby
Yes, I remember you were.
that had like
Yeah.
postpartum depression and was totally insane and had like a knife and was like,
But whenever you walk into the room, like if you walk into the schoolhouse where Laura Ingalls was taught by a teacher that was going to be like you, there's a feeling when you walk into a space like that. Just a feeling that if you bring that on stage, that's authentic.
Yep.
That just all that can do is help. I think that's awesome. You
Yeah.
must have done the same thing, Stevie, for Pulitzer too.
I did.
oh, obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Yeah, well,
He wrote
good.
every book about Pulitzer. He was
Good.
knew everything.
Yep. It's your duty. I mean, not only is it helpful to you as an actor in developing your take on this person, but it's your duty, I think, as an artist to research all that stuff. I did the same thing for Captain Von Trapp, and that was a
So you play
fascinating.
all these people that actually lived.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
he's
don't know
played
if
a
I've
lot
ever
of
played anybody
real
that
life.
actually lived.
Really? No.
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever
Well,
played
Lincoln,
a character.
Lincoln, you did. That was a real guy.
Yeah, I did that. I learned about that guy. Yes, Bluff Wade.
Lincoln, y'all, he
Bluff
was in
Wade.
Lincoln, and that was Ren's
Yeah.
first movie.
I didn't know
That was
she was in
Ren's
Lincoln.
first-
That's awesome. No.
She was in the little pouch, and we would just feed her and just watch the movie, and then she'd fall asleep, and then I'd feed her again, and she'd watch, and I'd watch the movie. It was great. I had just given birth a week before. It was her first movie. Uncle Wayne.
But I mean, oh well, that's nice. I love that. But it's like 1984. You know, I did comb it because it was written by Orwell, and I wanted to see what he wrote about my character. You know, and I found my character literally on page 22 of the paperback, where it called Parsons, a fattish imbecilic man of immense enthusiasm. I went, done, got it.
Perfect casting.
You know? I've learned a fattish, imbecilic man. This is me. I mean, just bring yourself. I don't even have to bend. I just come in.
We know that you are a very tuned in, tapped in individual and very conscious of what's going on in the world and where we're going spiritually, where we're going ideal wise. What's your thoughts on what's going on lately in the world?
It's interesting. Part of me thinks, because I do think our president is the dumbest and most dangerous human being, to cross public path.
Yeah.
Certainly the most inflammatory.
But trying to look through the forest to see the trees, I also think he happened because it ripped the veil off of the truth of like who we really are as a people, I think.
Yep.
And the ugliness that's there, and it really just said, this is it, guys, now what do you want to do? And I do think a lot of people open their eyes to going, oh my God,
the abundance
of
well-being is all around us, and the more we focus on the minutia that's going on, the more we are dragged down by it.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I think I've explained to you many years ago about the precession of the equinox. When the equinox changed in 2012, it became the age of Aquarius. And the age of Aquarius is a very enlightened time. It's focusing on light on the dark.
It's a big picture.
On the big picture.
Looking at the big picture.
So you see all of this change in our world, the Black Lives Matter, the Me Too, Time's Up. You see all this change happening in the world, and it's because we are, as you said, we are being forced to look at ourselves. If we're not doing it on our own, we are being forced to look at ourselves and go within and become more tuned in with the universe, as opposed to carrying around guns and trying to kill each other.
It's very much a time of shining light on what is not working so that it can be brought to the surface and let go. And I do think the current administration is showing that. It's showing, there are so many things that are, the light is being shown on the darkness that needs to shift. Yeah. And that's just, you could see it in every aspect of our life, politically, socially, economically, biologically. I mean, it's just like everything in the universe is going, okay, this hasn't been working. This is not going to sustain itself. It has to shift. Here's what's not working. Yeah. Let's get rid of it. Yeah. Let's change it. Right. Or let's just embrace evolution of the evolution of what needs to be, what will be better, what will be sustainable. So, yeah.
And to be aware of that process, I guess.
Consciousness.
And I think for so many decades, actually, or who knows how long, but I mean, we're not aware of that process. They weren't, everyone just, this is how it's done and I'm in control. And it's like, no, really, you're not. I mean, and plus we're this much in the Earth's existence, the human being.
And we have no control.
I mean, you hear about all these meteors that just miss us, and you wait for the universe to go, hit them, move on, we'll change it.
They're a blip. They're just an amoeba on a flea on a piece of lint.
Well,
yeah.
We'll start over.
Done a lot of studying lately about the solar flares and the CMEs, the coronal mass ejections that are happening all the time from the sun, and eventually we are going to get hit. I mean, it's not a question of if, it's only when. But we can, as I've come to understand, we can collectively as a world change our fate simply by raising our conscious level, raising our level of awareness, being essentially better human beings. We can change our fate because
healing ourselves, healing our trauma, being self-aware and caring for yourself. Like, that's the fundamental. That's it.
But this president proved that anybody could be president of the United States. You know, if they really wanted it bad enough, you could have that power to make world change if you really wanted that job and wanted to do that. And you know, he obviously wanted it for whatever reason, got it, but he's doing horrible things with it on this level. But being used by the greater good, he's totally unmasked who we are as a people.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
Truly who we are. You know,
But
which is
about
pretty
10 years
amazing.
ago,
So,
I had a conversation with you, and because I was really first getting into studying the law of attraction, and you looked at me and said, well, yeah, I do that all the time. I've been doing that for a long time. I thought you were always doing it. and I guess I was doing it unconsciously, but I didn't know what it was I was doing.
But you had gotten out of it. You had gone to a dark place where you were a little victim-y and a little angry, and you had gone away from your natural inclination to be present and be and just happy.
Because of anybody I know, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, anybody I know, you were the one that just manifested right off the bat.
Yep.
It was like, I went, why am I working so hard? And Steve's on Broadway, you know, and doing this and that. You just manifest. It was like, there we go. And it was Lee Brock that turned me on to an old girlfriend who turned me on to visualization and all that stuff. And it was a book that I don't think is in print anymore, but it was like amazing. It's called TNT, The Power Within You. And it was all about that stuff you see on that video, The Secret, you know, if you've ever seen that. But I mean, I used to, and I still have it on my computer somewhere, as the vision board of who I wanted to work with, or I would see it. And it's not just, I want to work, because then you manifest want. If you say, I want to do this, you manifest want. Okay, well, you want to do that. But if you say, no, I will work with, or
I am working with.
Yeah.
Or I am manifesting money. I am, money flows to me. Money, you know, it's just a definitive. And then literally go through your imagination process of actually experiencing it, you know, actually experience the money. Actually, if you want to, you know, great success, I mean, or awards or whatever, feel what it's like to hold the award. How heavy is it? You know, I mean, really manifest it in you, and then just wait for it to show up. You know,
and get out of its way.
I remember having that great thing one day of saying, one day I'm going to play basketball with George Clooney, and then suddenly I'm playing basketball with George Clooney. You know, I mean, that was years coming, because I remember looking at him going, I want to work with this guy. You know, I want to play basketball with him. I know he plays basketball. I play basketball. Out of the blue, he offers me Leatherheads, and you know, we were playing basketball every 3 days or so on that set. You know, and I remember thinking, wow, this is awesome.
You did it.
As an adult, as an older adult, I look back at my experience with Goulet, and I realized that from the time I was a kid, I was walking around the house singing that song. When I went to high school, it was my first audition song. It was the first song I sang in public. In college, I wore one of his costumes that, you know, they had rented out from Camelot. And here I am being knighted by him every single night on Broadway. And I realized, oh my freaking God, I manifested that whole thing.
Yep.
And it was easy. I didn't think about it. You know, I wasn't trying to do it. It was just something that was constantly there in my subconscious, and I was doing it.
And that sword that he gave you is still the coolest gift I've ever heard anyone giving another person. I just think, that is the coolest friggin' thing ever.
Cool.
You know, that's amazing.
It's not the sword from the show. It's just a Lancelot type sword, era sword.
That he engraved.
Yeah.
You know, from one Lancelot to another or something like that. I just remember thinking that is the coolest thing ever.
I think every young performer needs to tune into that energy and realize that you got to be absolutely happy, thrilled, and grateful for where you are, and eager for more. And don't get down on yourself. Don't worry, but I'm not getting this. I'm not
Don't
getting
feel
that.
you're not enough.
I'm not enough. I can't
Right.
book a job. Just enjoy the ride, man.
Just
Enjoy
go
the
with it,
frickin'
Dorothy.
ride.
Just go with it.
Enjoy the freaking
Well,
ride.
Be
it's
present.
true, and you did that. And I was always told that, even from the first advice ever from Robert is like, I had to pay my dues. He's going to have to pay his. So I thought, this is going to be a hard road, man. And I got to, and it was at first early on, and I studied hard and I did work whenever, and I thought it's going to be hard. It's going to be, guess what?
It was hard.
If that's what you wanted to manifest.
Exactly.
It was
Because
hard.
you say it's going to be hard, then it's going to be hard.
Until you sit down and I started manifesting, like, just relax, chill. I mean, it doesn't take away. I'm glad I did the acting thing I did, training, but I mean, it was like, just let it come to you. No, do the mind work and enjoy the ride, as you
Enjoy the ride,
which
man.
I think
This is the work.
Because you said to me, I remember him coming to me after, he's like in the residual strings I'm talking about, and then saying, I want to do what you do. I want to, and I always wanted to do what he did.
You kind of are envious of each other's careers in a funny way, because you wanted to do Broadway. He wants to do TV and film now. You have this great canon of work here. He has this great canon of work here, and you kind of just start flip-flopping. It's so
yeah.
funny.
And now I'm like going, I want to do theater. I want to do more theater. Yeah. And he's like killing it.
Gung-ho TV film. Like, he's like, got to do it.
I'm just going to get on my series and go.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to get on a series and go too. I'm there. It's, but I think it just amazes me that I go, well, Stevie says he's doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
You're just doing it.
Well, he just naturally has that.
Well, when
he puts his mind to something, it just kind of happens.
Yep.
But he was blocking it for a really long time.
I was blocking it for a long time.
He was angry.
Very angry. Yeah.
Angry at the world and angry at everything.
And you know what? Nothing came to me. I think during that period, I auditioned for every single Broadway show and didn't book one. Now, what does that tell you?
The university, you're not opening to the universe when you fight and struggle like that. You get angry and everything. That's
Anger brings nothing but
when
more.
you start. But what it does bring you is the time to reflect and go, okay, why is this happening?
Yep.
After it happens for a while, you go, why is this happening?
Yep.
And that's what this time is about.
And when you just take time to listen, and go, well, all right, I think I'm going to go this way or that, or listen to that inner gut, whatever, that says, okay, I'm going to do this or that, or, so.
In closing, how about give us one little tip for younger actors that are just starting out? What's the one thing you always tell young folks?
Well, one thing I always tell young folks, it's kind of negative, but I always tell young folks, if there's anything else you love to do as much as acting, you should do that.
We say it to them all the time.
All the time. I mean, that's the one thing, but then the other thing is think of this craft as if you've been called to it like a priest is called to God. I mean, that's the kind of the feeling you have to have in doing it. It's not something to be taken lightly, and it's a huge responsibility because you change people's lives. So look at it that way. It's an honorable profession. You've
got to want it more than anything in the world.
Yeah,
and if you do succeed and you do get to a place where you have influence or some kind of voice to give the young people, you have so much responsibility there too. So really care about what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I have learned that my favorite thing almost on this planet is being able to say I was a small cog in someone else taking it on. I mean, there's a few people I've been able to say, I had a little bit of credit like that. You're one of them, Stevie, you're one of them. Kiala Settle, this guy that was the lead on Grimm, I said I had a little, and it just makes my heart sing, that if you can touch another person and in your whole journey, just one, That's it. You've had a great life.
Yep.
You know, if you've been able to help one other person, and I think that's the coolest. And so that's why young actors, I'm like, whatever. Here's my email. Here's my phone. Call me. Whatever you need.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll be glad to talk. So
You're
anyway.
a good man. You're a good man.
Hey,
You're our
well,
favorite.
you're a good man, my brother.
Thanks, man. My brother from
He's
another.
my brother. Don't ever leave me.
So I'm not going to
Don't
leave
ever
you.
leave me.
I'm not going to leave you, brother.
And Mare, oh, what a gift you are to that man and to all of us. And my wife just, I'm sorry, she thinks you're the most talented woman she knows. So, and well, actor, period. She's like, she is so good. I went, yeah, I know.
I mean,
she adores
I'm the
me.
best.
Well, yeah.
I'm surprised our daughter is not here to
Fun.
say hi. I think she is sleeping.
Uh-huh.
Because otherwise she would be your granddaughter.
Yes, your
Hey,
granddaughter.
Pops.
Yeah.
We should tell that story real quick if we have time.
Tell her to come out and see Pop Pop.
Oh,
One day you'll
Pop.
tell her.
So we were
Come
in
out and see
Sardis.
Pop Pop.
Oh, my internet connection is unstable.
Unstable.
We're unstable.
We're unstable.
But I see you. You're moving. You're grooving.
So we were in Sardis once having some lunch, and I believe I went up to go to the bathroom.
You did.
And
it was just the three of us. Uncle Wayne, Ren, and I were sitting together at the table.
And the waiter came over and said,
Sir, tell me if I get this wrong, to you.
No.
Sir, this is just such a beautiful scene watching you here with your granddaughter.
And did I correct her?
No.
I did not.
Nope.
You are 1 year older than her father.
Nope.
I
6
know.
months.
6 months.
6 months. That's right. 6 months older.
And I
remember
from then
going,
on called you
huh?
Dad.
Grandpa.
Dad.
Oh, Dad.
You know, Grandpa for her.
Grandpa for her.
You know, well, look at me though. Come on, look at me. I'm looking at me now going, how can I only be 6 months older than Steve? That's
You're
not
gorgeous.
right.
You're gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. I got the white. All right.
All right,
So
bro.
have fun, guys.
Thanks, man.
All right. I love you guys.
Hey, love you, man. Thanks for
Love
jumping
you.
on.
You got it. My pleasure.
Wayne Duvall, everyone.
Wayne Duvall.
Everyone, both of you out there. No, I'm kidding. All right.
Hey, we're on the opposite sides now.
Hey,
Amazing.
look at that.
He was really cool, wasn't
Of course he was.
he? I love him. I love him so very much.
I mean, he's the best.
He's a good dude. All right, so that's our little intro episode to the very goodish Mare and Steve channel.
Or this is just a nice taste of what we have to show you and what we are, and maybe it's not the first one. Maybe it's one. Maybe it's one of the ones.
It's
It's a episode of the very goodish Mare and
What the
Steve
hell
show.
are we doing?
Because it's goodish. Don't you think it's so goodish?
Okay, so we have to tell that story. So I was trying to figure out a name for the channel, and I was trying to make it very Python-esque.
Monty Python-esque, yes, because we kind of are together because of our mutual love of Monty Python.
Yes, and you are going to tell that story at some point.
I will. That's
Okay.
a different episode.
So I started to create this channel, and I wanted to call it the incredibly very goodish, sometimes relevant Meredith and Steve channel, and it wouldn't take it. And
Which I loved.
And I was very angry, and I thought, someone is copywriting goodish. I know it. Something is wrong. Something is terribly
Someone
wrong.
is taking our name.
God
It's impossible.
bless it. And then Mary said to me, she said, it's probably too long. And so indeed it was too long.
Brought to you by
Tequila.
Camarena Tequila Rebels.
So it is now just the very goodish Mare and Steve channel.
The very goodish Mare and Steve channel. Goodish has become one of my favorite ways to describe things because it is hard to. We all overuse like awesome and great, and it's really amazing. We are doing our best over here, people. It's not great. It's not awesome. It's just goodish. We're just goodish. We're all just doing our best. And that's enough, right?
It's all good.
And goodish is enough.
It's all good. People have got to give themselves and everyone
break.
around them a break.
Give first yourself a break.
First yourself a break.
Because if you give yourself a break, then you're much more likely to give everybody else a
Yeah,
break.
and let everyone off the hook.
Let everybody do them.
Don't require anyone to be of any service to you in order to make you feel better.
No, you can make yourself feel
You
better.
can make yourself feel better and give everyone a break.
Yes, especially nowadays.
Yep.
Practice the kindness, people. Practice the kindness. So that's what our channel is about. It's very goodish. It's very about consciousness. It's very about authenticity. It's very about just us as a couple and our business of show and the world today and COVID-19, or as I like to call it, COVID-15, because that's how much weight I've gained, and our favorite drinks.
You look beautiful, my love.
You know, a head wrap and a flowy shirt will do a lot for somebody.
So I'm drinking raisin-soaked rum.
Oh, yes.
And
we
that
have
is-
to talk about your raisin cookies.
And that is because today, after a while, I had to show our in-laws what my
Your
rum-soaked...
in-laws, my
Your parental units,
Parental
my
units.
in-laws. I had to show them the rum-soaked raisin cookies. So
that's part of why I have the COVID-15.
after you soak the raisins in the rum, you can't throw the rum out. So you got to drink the raisin-soaked rum.
Don't waste it.
Don't waste it.
Can't waste it.
And that's it. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.